Good evening, gentlemen and lady men. Yeah, you can see my feet down there. This is going to be a quick and crude and rough video, but I've got a few minutes this morning, so I want to throw this out here because I've had quite a few people out in real life and on YouTube asking about it, so I wanted to throw this out today while I've got a few minutes. I apologize. This is going to be one take, unedited, nothing at all changed or altered, so if there's any mess ups, any foul ups, that's just the way it's going to be. But I've only got a few minutes, so I'm going to run this by you real fast. I've had a few questions about filters, how I filter pipes. And let me get over here and get this filter. You may have heard it hit the floor. It just fell down. Like I said, crude, rough, unedited video. That's the way it's going to be. Anyway, first off, I will start with the regular old filter. This is a Dr. Grabo filter, as you see. Regular 6mm filter. It's too long for pipes like this. This is my Roma Galleria pipe, which I've reviewed and had some people talking about. They have a few of these here and there on sale. This model is sold out on Pipes and Cigars right now, but you might find it elsewhere. But they did have a, I think it was a billiard style bowl maybe, or a Dublin, one of the two. But anyway, these pipes are meant to be unfiltered, but as you can see, they have a regular size tenon and a 6mm filter will fit in there. The problem is, well, let me show you this. It will go all the way in, but the problem is this filter sticks out so far that it kind of gets into the bottom almost to, if it weren't for the draft hole, the filter would be in your bowl burning, and this burns on this end. It gets burnt and you wind up smoking some paper, as I've discussed in the past. So what you do is take some scissors and you snip off about a 1/4 inch, which is about 7mm if you're on the continent, and that will solve that problem. You notice it leaves I'll leave it squished like this because that helps it hold it, because this pipe isn't exactly designed for a 6mm filter and it fits loose, so I leave this smashed part compressed end here, smashed, a little oblong. I leave it that way so it latches into the pipe, and it does its job and filters just fine. So there's one little trick you can use for a pipe that really is too short to accept a 6mm filter. You can now filter it. And by the way, they make, if you like carbon, they make 6mm carbon filters as well. But here's what I've also wanted to show you is how to make your own filters. And this is a very simple process. It is an improvisation. It's not fancy. There's nothing elaborate about it. Okay, it is improvised, but I've been doing it for over a year now, and it works for me. And you can see if it works for you. Firstly, in a pinch, you can do this with something you probably already have in your home, which is this right here. You can do it with notebook paper. By the way, all the measurements and terminology I'm using are for North America. I don't know what you call some of this stuff on the continent or in the UK, but here we would call this college ruled paper with the narrower rule on it. And I found that on college ruled paper, 6 lines is enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we go up 6 lines, and that gives you the perfect, I'm not going to cut all the way through this, but it gives you the perfect length for a filter, even in a pipe like this. So for any pipe, it gives you the perfect length. Okay, I'm going to show you how I roll this in just a minute, because I roll it the same way with both types of paper. So there you go. You can do this with notebook paper. It's fine. I haven't had any trouble with the taste or any chemicals or any problems with it. It seems to work just fine. I've done that quite a bit. But what I've done is I've ordered these on Amazon. These are 3" by 5" scratch pads, they call them, writing pads, 3 by 5, and they make excellent filters. It's kind of a crude paper. So it's very absorbent, and it makes a good charcoal filter. Now I already have some cut, and this is the width I have them cut to. I do not have a ruler, but as you can see on this, I hope you can see that, this is 3 inches wide, and that's just over, a little bit over, about 2 inches. So I cut it right at 2 inches. In fact, that 1/4 inch you cut off of your Dr. Grabo pipe filter, it's the same length. So cut about a 1/4 inch or 7mm off of your regular filter, and then you can roll this cut this the same width as the length of this filter, and it will fit in your beater briar pipes that aren't designed to be filtered, and you can use them in standard 6mm filter pipes too. Now, I keep these for travel. I use these exclusively for travel now. At $3 a box, and I smoke my pipe quite a few times throughout the day nowadays. So I burn through these very quickly. So I only use these when I'm traveling or when I'm at the university or whatever and I want to take a smoke break. So I use these paper filters almost every day. Another thing, what can we do with the piece that's left over? Okay, I have this little bag from the tobacco shop, you know, and I use it like a little wallet and a paper clip to clip these in. These can also work, but what I use them for is to cut these small squares, and those are for, if you remember, I did a review on a Baracchini pipe that had a condenser type stem in it, or you can use these for a 3mm stem. Okay, and you just roll these up the same way. Now, how do I roll them? I hope you got all that. If you have any questions, just throw them in the comments and I'll answer them as soon as I get a chance. And by the way, you leave this connected together, leave it in its stack. You can cut 8 or 10 pieces depending on your scissors at a time and just leave it with its glue holding it all together. Now, how do we roll it? It's very simple. I go to the edge of my desk. We'll use the edge of the review board. It makes it easier. And just bend, and that's about 1mm. You see here in the North America, we learn both systems. The Europeans, you tell us we're silly because we only learn one language. Well, we think you guys are silly because you only learn one measurement system. And that's just a joke, by the way, just some crude humor. But that's it. I bend it over, and it gives it that little corner, if you can see, and it makes it easier to roll. And then we just roll it up like a cigarette. Let me show you how I'm rolling this here. See that little tube? And I just roll it up. It's very simple. And it takes a little bit of practice, but if you rolled your own cigarettes before, which I did as a teenager at one point, and see this here, how it comes out to a cone, you just compress it, or you can hold it. Let me unroll it. Oh, I dropped it. Hang on. Told you guys this is going to be a rough video. Wasn't much time this morning. Or otherwise, you can roll it just like this. You can hold it between your fingers and start rolling it up. Just like that. Well, I've smashed it. Sorry, gentlemen, lady, men. Just like this. And roll it up, and it won't cone out on you. And then you can tighten it up however you need it. Okay, so once we get that rolled, and you'll have to play with this. You'll have to adjust it to get the tightness you want, to get the absorption you want. Is going to depend on a few things. And there it is. That's all I do to that. Get my pipe stem here. And if it's coned out a little bit, I actually do leave it coned out some. And I put that side towards the chamber because that, in my opinion, gives more surface area to absorb moisture. And then we take it and just rotate it. You see we've got our fold here just like you would with pipe thread tape or something. Just roll it in. And there you go. And check your draw. Don't load this with tobacco till you check your draw. Just put it to your mouth and draw on it. Make sure it's drawing how you like. And there you go. That's how I roll my own filters. Not complicated, not simple. Again, it is an improvisation. It won't impress your fancy friends, but it will save you a lot of money. And I'm not a cheapskate. I mean, I've got $2,000 worth of stuff sitting right here beside me that I use for smoking my pipe with. I'm not a cheapskate at all, but I mean, at $3 a box, and you only get 10 of these, and you might get, if you're lucky, you can get 3 smokes out of this with English, and you really usually only get 1 out of a wet aromatic. So yeah, and you can dry them. I know I do dry them in the sun sometimes, but yeah, this is just a lot cheaper. I got a dozen of these, and it wasn't but a few bucks. I can't remember now exactly what I paid for them. It was less than $10 US. I know that for a dozen of these pads, and I think there's 50 or 60 sheets of it on a pad. So I can use I use them for writing too, but yeah, 2 of these writing pads. That's going to last me for months on top of months, and this pad cost, I think right at, if I remember the price correctly, they're like 60 cents for one of these pads, maybe less, and I get many more filters out of that than I do a box. So yeah, that's how I do it. Roll it up, and if I missed something, or if you didn't get what I was saying, that's all there is to it. Cut your piece of, and I should have measured this. I apologize. I'll measure it and put it in the comments down there and give you the exact length on this. But I forgot to bring a ruler in here, so I'll do that. while this video is processing. Okay, guys, I hope that answers some of your questions. I hope that makes sense to you. Sorry for the crudeness of the video, but that's just the way it is today. This is Moderate Fanatic. Thank you for watching. I do not have a catchphrase.